Hi, I'm Jake from TradeLab.ai. This is a replay of one of our weekly AMAs. We have these on Discord. You can join us next time. There's a link at the top of our website to join us on Discord. Real quick, before we get into it, I wanted to go over some of the changes that are going on, specifically the pricing. So the pricing's actually been up for quite a while on the website, but not a lot of people scroll down to see the whole thing. So I wanted to point it out. We are looking at turning on subscriptions sometime around August, so either the beginning or the end of August is what I'm thinking right now. We'll be announcing this more and more as we get closer. The main thing to remember is that we are going to stay free. So if you're currently using it for free, you can continue using it for free. The main difference is there are going to be certain restrictions. Um, the main restriction is that you can only have 2 active trades running at one time if you're using it with a light plan, with the free plan. So that means that you can still watch and look at, say, 5, 10 symbols if you want, but you'll only be able to trade on 2 at one time. So that's the main difference. Obviously, we have a standard and a pro plan for 79 and 199. So those changes will be made sometime around August. Again, we'll be discussing it more and more as we come up. Just wanted to bring that up, and now we can get into the rest of the updates for this week. What am I doing in the next couple months? I'm wrapping up the builder overhaul. This big ugly thing that I hate so much. It does well. It's a great little piece of tech, but I don't think that it's very usable. What I'm making in its place is the exact same thing. It will do the same thing. It just won't be a pain to use. I can't even look at
shit.
Yeah, I can't even look at a whole rule on my screen. I have to scroll to see like the entirety of a rule. That's just bad design. Who designed this? It wasn't me. Yeah, it definitely wasn't me. I actually just slapped this together as a test, and I've been meaning to overhaul this, and I've just been pushing it back and pushing it back. And I didn't want to go quote unquote live without overhauling this, and so that's what I'm working on right now, very feverishly. Along with that is a new strategy wizard. Strategy wizard is almost sort of like this, where you open up your TPSL line builder and you're like, I want to add new lines, and it asks you a bunch of questions, and it's real nice to you, and blah blah blah. The idea behind the strategy wizard is that it's going to be a wizard that walks you through setting up a strategy, asking you where you want to place your take profits, stop losses, how much you want to trade, what symbol you want to do. Is it going to be limit or market? We'll explain that to you to make it easy. We'll figure out if you want to do timeouts on your limit trades, and just make all of that step by step a whole lot easier. You can actually start with the wizard, go through that nice process, and then end up editing it as a advanced strategy if that's what you want to do. So you could use the wizard to generate you all your trade settings and your TPSL and everything, so you don't have to fill out the boxes. So you could do that. But the strategy wizard is actually made for people who this, and even the thing that I'm making that's going to replace this, is too complicated. I don't want to deal with this. So I want to walk through very simple things, and we're talking about building a strategy. We're not talking about copying, right? So I already sort of have the idea, or have this working, where you can go copy, say, David's template, and we'll walk you through setting it up, right? Well, that might get a little bit easier, but we already have that. What I'm talking about is using a wizard to build a brand new strategy, right? And so the question becomes, okay, I can fill out my lines and how much I want to trade, but how am I going to do the logic? If I'm going to hide all this from everybody, what's that? Well, that's where this comes in, modules. So modules is a new system that I actually already have done on the back end. I'm implementing a couple more things UI wise. And what modules are basically a group of rules. So you can say, hey, I'm going to do a complicated DCA with a bunch of conditions and rules on it. And instead of having, 5 different rules and 3 different variables and all this stuff, and say I want to move that to another strategy. Say it's working in this strategy, it's great, and I want to apply that same, idea to another strategy. Well, instead of making it all over again, I can make those 5 rules and those variables and group them into a module. And what a module then allows us to do, we can share the modules. And so when we go back to the strategy wizard, after you fill out all your stuff, I can then just present a library of shared modules that other people have made, that I've made, that somebody else has made. And then like Lego blocks, just take these modules and glue them together. Right? So it's just like, oh, I want DCA, and I want to roll my take profit when I actually finally get above my entry, and I want to, do this, and it'll just sort of combine together, right? So that's what modules are, and that's what the strategy wizard is. And so, yeah, for those who haven't seen it, this is our roadmap. Feeling pretty good about it so far. Things are going well. Getting the testnet out. So another big announcement today is that TradeLab is getting a testnet. We'll have our own testnet. It'll be testnet.tradelab.ai, and it'll be a totally separate website that you'll make a new account in, and then you can import your strategies and do your testing over there. The reason that we have a testnet isn't for paper trading or anything like that. I am looking into perhaps providing some paper trading or doing some clever things with the live versus the testing charts. But all in all, what this testnet is for us is a way for me as a developer to work on this, put something out there to a bunch of people who are still using it, but are using it and knowing that it's test, right? And so hopefully you do your test trading on this and you do your live trading on the other mainnet. And the more people who use it, the faster I can catch bugs, and the more sure that we can be that whenever I release something to the live, that there won't be a bunch of bugs, right? Because we will have had people test it. If we don't have anybody in the testnet testing, then it does me no good, right? This is something I've been wanting to do for a while. Actually, he's not here, but I want to shout out Old Rebel for helping us out with some donations that is going to allow us to stand up such a server. We're talking basically double the cost because it's like a separate infrastructure, right? And it's something that I knew I was going to do as soon as I had the money, but I hadn't. We have had some help, some luck with AWS funding. So we're actually, until August, I think we're going to be pretty keen, with the exception of doubling our costs. So now we won't, but we'll have those donations and helping out. And so that's going to be real nice. So yeah, we're getting the testnet up. So let's talk about the new plugin system. So plugins are found on the main menu on the left, and this is only going to be available on the testnet for a little bit. What the plugin system allows us to do, I actually created a duplicate earlier while I was testing. I'm going to create another one here in a second. What the plugin system allows us to do is connect different services to TradeLab so that we can have inputs and outputs. So for example, we can select a different kinds of services. For example, Twitter, Discord, Telegram. Right at this moment, Twitter is the only one that's available. These two are coming soon. Discord is in current development, and Telegram is coming soon after that. What this allows you to do in, say, the case of Twitter, is allow you to input information. And what that means is if a tweet gets sent, we can generate that into an alert, input it into TradeLab, and have it, run it as an alert. So you're getting alerts from tweets now. We can also do the same thing with Discord. So you would invite our Discord bot. You would tell it to go into our channel, a particular channel, tell it what channel to watch, basically, and give it a plugin ID. And then at that point, it would know, okay, I'm watching this channel. If anything is said in this channel, I'm going to generate a alert from it and send that to TradeLab. Same thing goes for Telegram. So that's input plugins. We also are going to have output plugins, and that's something that's coming with Discord and Telegram. Might come for Twitter later on, but not right away. So output is if I wanted to send a message whenever a trade is placed, or say my take profit is hit, or let's just say that a particular rule ran and a condition is met, and I want to send out a message to all of my followers, I can do that. So that's what plugins do. If you hit Twitter, I'll show you how to set up a Twitter plugin. So let's say I want to look at whale calls. Whale calls is a Twitter that a lot of people use to get alerts from, and they have a nice standard. They have a nice standard data format, a nice standard message that they always use, which makes them a perfect candidate to be used with TradeLab. So what we can do is we can type in whale calls, which is their Twitter handle, and it'll load up the past tweets that they've had recently. So what we can do with this is we can break this apart into a message that TradeLab will understand. So I can say, first I can select my alert template. And normally, you might have a default template. You could probably just use that. But if you do use multiple alert templates, here they are. You can select them. And right here is a list of all the fields for this template. And so what I can do is say I want to make type long or short. If I hover over it, it highlights, and if I click on it, it'll turn this color. And so it does that to all the different messages so that I can see how it affects all the messages to make sure that there's no, mishighlighting. It also creates an alert on the right side, and this is what's actually going to send to TradeLab. If I select symbol, I can hit this, and now I got my BTC. If I select limit price and then click over here, you'll notice that this has a $sign. But because that this field is a number, that we end up stripping off the $sign and just making it a number right here. Okay, and I can actually go through the different alerts or different messages right here and show me what each alert would look like. Okay, if you do have a message that is delimited not by spaces or by perhaps something else, if you have a message that's a little bit more complicated, you can use multiple delimiters here. So if I wanted to add a delimiter and say that at was a delimiter, it's going to remove this at, and it's now, well, there's also at in the middle of some of these words. And so it's going to take anywhere where AT is and break it apart, right? And so there's many different ways you can use that. You can get creative. This also supports regex, so you can get creative with that if you know regex. And that's how that works. So we would hit save, and now we can set up, or we have our whale calls. Anytime we hear a new alert, it'll generate, anytime we hear a new tweet, it'll generate us an alert, and we'll go ahead and run our rules. So that's how plugins work. I also made a change to alerts. You'll see it now says alert utilities. It used to say alert templates. We do still have alert templates in here. We also have alert subscriptions, but we now have a new alert parsers. And this is pretty much the same thing that we just saw, In fact, anytime I create a Twitter or plugin, it ends up creating a parser so that you can see over here. But if I edit these parsers or create a new one, I would provide it different messages, right? So I can type in a message here. So that's how parsers work, and that's how the plugin system works. So those will be available on the testnet, hopefully by the end of the week, the end of the weekend. All right, and that's what happened this week at TradeLab. If you have any more questions, feel free to join us on Discord. You can also click the help button down at the bottom, search for any questions you have, or create a support ticket. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more updates, and have a good day.